Hi everyone, I'm so happy to be here today with my good friend and client Usama Rawi, who I've known now for, 24 years, is that correct?
It's longer than that. It's more like 28 years.
28 years, which is so amazing, and I'm so grateful and appreciative of having amazing clients that became friends. And today, we sold our last deal 6-7 months ago. Today's in town taking care of business, and we just had a lovely lunch, visiting and chatting about life and business. So I met Usama initially years ago. I had a 4-unit building for sale in West Hollywood. He was a tenant. And tell the story about what happened there, because...
Yes, I got a knock on the door, and
It was me?
And it was you. You introduced yourself as representing my landlord, and you told me that the landlord is intending to sell the building, and you had potential clients, potential buyers, who would like to look at the unit. Well, they were looking at all the units, including mine, and could you bring them over? And you did, and they came and walked around the place. They stayed some time, actually.
Yeah.
A bit late. So, anyway,
and then they bought the building.
Well, then you left, and a few days later you called me and you said, yes, I have some news. Those tenants that saw, the buyers that saw the building and your unit are buying the building. I said, oh, so I'm going to have a new landlord. He said, well, actually, the buyer wants to live in your unit.
Yes.
So I said, oh, that's great.
You weren't exactly thrilled.
Yeah, not exactly thrilled. I was not excited. I said, okay, so when do I have to vacate by? And somehow we talked about vacating. Do I have to?
We arranged a date that was convenient.
A date was arranged. Then you asked me if I knew where I was going to move to, and did I need your help? And I remember thinking, oh, it's nice of him. So I said, yeah, if you can point me in the right direction, find somewhere for me, that'd be great. So you started phoning me and sending me to potential places for me to rent.
Well, I started with rentals with you?
It was rental.
Okay.
It was rental because I was renting from
right. I remember
your client, and so I needed to continue renting. And I think I saw 3 places before the one that got us together. And when I saw the one on Keith Avenue, I liked it immediately. What I didn't like about the early ones was they were sort of hotel-style corridors.
Right.
Apartments coming off of corridors.
Yes.
Which I
well, you were in a townhouse building. It was a townhouse, if I remember correctly, right?
Well, it had, as you said, it was a fourplex, wasn't it?
Right, but it was your unit was multiple floors.
Multiple floors,
right.
But it was like I was 1-floor apartment. There was nobody else beside me.
Right.
So I wanted something similar, and the one on Keith Avenue finally was similar, if not better.
But Keith wasn't for rent at the time, was it?
Well, the owner, Valerie Salkin, you told me that she was going to rent it because she was going to move with her boyfriend.
I remember now. Yes.
Yeah, she was going to live with her boyfriend, and she put this one up for rent. And I think I was the first person to look at it through you, and she was represented by somebody else because somebody else.
Yeah, it was not her agent.
Was waiting. Yeah, waiting for me to show up. I liked it immediately.
Yeah.
And the rental arrangement was made, and I moved in. And one of the times that I had occasion to talk to Valerie, I asked her, I said, I really like it here. Have you ever thought about selling it? And her response was, well, not really, because it's, I live with my boyfriend and it's my crutch in case of an emergency.
Of course.
So I said, okay then. And I forgot all about it.
Yeah.
And then about a year later, I get a phone call from her. She asked me if I was still interested in buying it. And I said, yes, very much so. She said, well, I got an engagement ring just the other day. I said, oh, congratulations, Valerie. I'm very happy for you. She said, yes, well, now I don't need my crutch.
I'm selling you and you got to move out again, right? You're like, oh, no.
Yeah, it's not immediately. So then she said, okay. She said, but I don't want to get into a bidding war and going back and forth. How about I sell it to you for $10,000 more than I bought it for? And I didn't know how much he bought it for.
Right.
I said,
right.
well, that sounds fair. And it did sound fair to me because it didn't matter that I didn't know how much he bought it for. It was going to be 10,000 more. It's
I
no
agree.
big deal.
Yeah.
So she said, well, I bought it for $279. How about we say it's $289? I said, great. I'm going to call my agent. So I called Christophe.
And we made the deal.
And you made the deal. And we've stayed friends ever since then.
Yes. So Usama is a very famous cinematographer. You were nominated for one of the Emmys for the movie with Buckets of Blood with
for Ruby's
Buckets of
Bucket
Blood.
of Blood.
Yes.
But then twice for the Tudors, and I won an Emmy for the Tudors.
Yes.
Yeah.
He won the Emmy for the two. He's a very wonderful, amazing artist, which is why I had him help me frame this particular shot. Anyway, so we
blame me.
So he bought the condo back then. What, $289?
It was June of '98.
So $289.
The price was $289.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sama lives in Canada, and he would come here for film shoots a couple weeks a year here and there. So I was renting it for year after year, short-term rentals, long-term. I mean, long time renting and renting over and over. So finally, we decided this last summer to sell the place, and we felt the market was the right time, and we priced it a little bit above really what the market was bearing. But he's a cinematographer, so everything was perfectly staged. It was his furniture, but it was, move-in condition. So we put it on the market. We got a couple of multiple bids, and we got quite a bit over the asking price, and we sold it.
Yeah, that was great, and it was the tactic was perfect.
You like the tactic?
Yeah, I like the tactic because you didn't go extremely low,
right,
and hope to get a major war to get it up to where it'll settle. It was a bit high. I think you selected a price that was the highest in that complex.
It was higher than the highest, yes.
Yeah, it was higher than the highest. The highest was a little bit over $1 million. You went quite a bit higher. Yeah, we went quite a bit higher, yes. And you thought it was the right amount that you would get offers. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And then two of them started fighting each other. So.
Exactly. Bidding war. We like bidding wars. But you know what was so wonderful? You and I go back a long way. We've had many tenants in your properties. We've had good tenants, not so good tenants, amazing tenants. Real estate's always ups and downs. But Usama and I have a great relationship. And the clients that follow my advice, that really do what I tell them to do, like you go to a doctor or you go to a lawyer, and they tell you something, you don't want to hear it, but it's the truth. You follow their advice, you get the best results. So Usama has always been the kind of person that he may not like what I have to say, but he listens, he pays attention, and he doesn't decide right away. He'll say, give me till tomorrow, and then you make a decision. But it's always worked out quite well for us.
Yes, well, it's important. I mean, if I'm using you to sell my place, why would I not listen to your advice?
True.
If I trust you enough to want you to represent the sale of my property, and then I decide that what you're telling me is not what I want to hear, it may not be what I want to hear, but at least you're telling me the truth.
Yes, and I also my clients, I'm telling you the truth. You may not want to hear what I have to say, but some clients may not be as rational as you are, and they still go in their own direction.
Yeah.
So all these years, what made you keep coming back to me, and what gave you that level of trust?
Well, I discovered that you knew what you're talking about.
Okay.
You had the experience, and trustworthy. Being trustworthy is so important.
Yes.
And for me, you're extremely trustworthy. I know you're not going to BS me with anything.
Yep.
You're going to tell me it as it is, which
yes.
is exactly what I want to hear.
Yep.
Some people may not like that. They may
That's
like
true.
the softly approach and don't say it all. Don't say anything negative.
Yeah.
Why not if it's the truth?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't like to hear the negative, but at any rate, we like the truth.
Yes.
So the truth be told. And if you have to tell me something not pleasant, at least you'll warn me. I'm about to tell you something that you may not like, but here's the reality.
Yes.
And I welcome that. So over the years, I've discovered that what you tell me is the truth, and whether I like it or not, I accept it as being the situation as is, and then it's left for me to decide whether I want to go with your advice or I choose to not go ahead at all and
Yes.
just forget it for now. We'll revisit the issue a little later.
Because there were times over the years that we talked about selling it, but I said it's not the right time, or you thought it was not the right time. And we decided mutually, it's not the right situation.
That's right.
And even at lunch today, I'm like, do you feel like it was the right time? We did the right thing? And you said yes, which made me feel good.
Yeah, I feel very, very pleased. None of this regrets and, oh, I wish I'd done this, I wish that I'd done. No, very happy with the result.
Well, let me ask you this question. I always like to improve myself. Anything we could have done differently to make the experience better, smoother, easier for you and Edwina in selling the property?
I don't know how it can have been any easier.
Wow, I love that.
So, this is not sales talk. This is the absolute truth.
Right.
It couldn't have been easier. It was very simple. When you told me we had a firm offer and we're going to accept it, and I said to you, well, oh, that's a little too soon. It's too quick. I didn't realize what was going to happen so quickly. A great price. And I remember when you heard me say, well, we have a date, we don't want to give it up before that date. And you said, well, I'll get back to you, I'll see what I can do. And you came back very soon after, either a day or 2 days after, and you said you negotiated with the buyer that we can stay an extra 2 months after the close
for free. Yes, that's right. Yeah. You know, my job is to make my client's experience the best it can be. And, you know, he lives in Canada, and there were a lot of things going on with his business life and his personal life. So, you know, the buyer wanted to buy it and close escrow, move in like in 30 days. It was a cash deal.
It was a cash deal.
Yeah. So, but then it's like, okay, we don't want to come here and move out all the furniture and all the stuff until we know it's a solid deal. So we closed the deal and got 2 months, that's right, free rent. I totally forgot about that. Mm-hmm. You came back casually, you did your estate sales, you did your sales, you packed up everything, took your incredible antique Jensen, right?
Yes.
You had an antique
Don't call it antique, classic.
Oh, excuse me. Classic Jensen car, and he drove it back to Toronto, right? Well, or at least to New York, Niagara Falls.
It's maybe a boring story, but I wanted to drive it back, just like I drove it down.
Yes, Edwina did not want that.
Edwina was prepared to be sitting in the car for 4 days or 3 days. I guess it would have been 3 days. But her friends told her, well, what's going to happen when it breaks down? They didn't say if it breaks down. They said when it breaks down, which is unheard of. My car does not break down. But anyway, even if it does, it didn't happen.
So this being said,
So anyway, I thought, okay, forcing her to stay in the car for 3 days may be too much for her. For me, it would be a pleasure. So I got it. I put it on a truck to take it all the way to Niagara, U.S. side.
Right.
And then I would go, because they can't take it across the border into Canada.
So you went to Niagara and you drove it from Niagara back to Toronto.
So I decided I'll get it as close to Canada as I can.
Yes.
By transport.
Yes.
And then that's what happened. And then I went to Canada, and Edwina drove me into the U.S. to Niagara.
I remember.
And then I got into my car and drove it into Canada.
Yes.
So that was a very short drive from Niagara, U.S. to Toronto, Canada, like about 100 kilometers.
Yes. So an interesting aspect about our relationship, and I have many clients from around the world, whether it's Canada, Asia, Hong Kong, France, South America. A lot of my clients, they buy vacation homes here or part-time residences to come and use. I would imagine if I lived here in the U.S. and selling a property in France or Italy, it's a bit more stressful because you're in a different country and you don't know what's going on day to day, and your agent's showing the place and what's really going on. Did we make you feel comfortable through that process and like really understanding what was going on through that?
Yeah, very comfortable right from the get-go. Actually, when I was renting it for the first time, the lady, we had a little issue with the tenant.
Yeah.
Anyway, then I got a call from her, and she was saying something about the tank, the hot water tank blew or something. Something serious happened. And I was filming, actually I was filming the Tudors.
The Tudors, yes, I remember.
And I contacted you. I told you what my tenant has just said. I said, look, I'm in Dublin. Can you deal with it for me? And you took the reins and dealt with it. You let me know that, yes, the tank needed replacing, that you'd arrange your contact to come and get the permit to change the tank, put the new tank in, have it all working, etc. And when everything was sorted out, I got the bill from you, and I paid you. It was absolutely painless. I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to worry about filming tomorrow, or thinking about what's happening to my property there, and there's the blown hot water tank, tenant complaining. None of that. I had no issue. It was in your hands, and you dealt with it. I'll always remember that.
Well, thank you. I'll say this, oftentimes people may think, oh, Christophe is a bougie Beverly Hills broker. I didn't even know what the word bougie meant years ago, but I now know what it means. Whether it's a small lease or a major $100 million estate, we treat our clients like family. And whatever has to be done, we take care of it. I have a great team and staff that help me with the process. And we want to make it as seamless and comfortable and easy as for them as possible. So I appreciate that story because I totally forgot about the water heater back in the day. Look, we've had so many leases. We probably leased that place 9-10 times over the years.
Easily.
And there were some easy ones and some not so easy ones. But
no catastrophes. They're all.
No.
I mean, because you did do the research. You always researched. You did a credit check, and you went beyond that.
Yes.
You knew how much cash they had in the bank.
Cash in the bank, credit checks. Now we do police reports, like to see if they've ever been arrested. Because you never know.
So that's why I felt safe. Because otherwise, you don't have somebody like you looking after the property. You're choosing the tenant yourself based on what? They look all right. They seem nice.
Yeah.
Well, they may not
seem nice means nothing.
It means absolutely no. It's no guarantee of anything. So I just tell you, this tenant sounds good, and then you go and do all the checkouts, and you send me the report. You send me the credit report. It's wonderful.
And I give you my advice on it too. I'm like, this one's not so good. I'm not, and I meet people face to face, so you have a good instinct about people, right? So it's been so lovely to be together now. 28 years. I can't. I thought it was 20, maybe 22, but 28, which is so nice.
And still counting.
Yes, but I'm only sad that you don't no longer have a property in LA at the moment, so I won't see you as often. Things will change.
Things will change. You may get that other phone call from me.
Good.
This time is Christophe. Can you find me a place, please? I need a pied-à-terre.
Exactly. Anything else you want to share or impart to people watching this video?
Other than I don't know any real estate person who's better than you.
Oh, well, thank you.
So,
And I assume you refer me to your friends and family, right?
Go to him.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. So glad we had lunch today and got to visit now that the deals are closed. And please make another movie in LA and let's get you a pied-à-terre.
I'll get the producers on it.
Thank you, Usama. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching.